You're unmuted.
Good evening, everybody. You guys are in for a special treat because we're streaming live also right now. So if you're at home, welcome and thank you for watching. My name is Denise, and I've got Chad and Eric here helping tonight. I'm not sure if they're going to get on the stage at all or not. Later, Eric will. They'll chime in from the background. Does everybody that's here have a handout? Okay. If you guys have questions at all at any point in time, please let me know. If you are watching from home live and you have questions or comments that you'd like to share, type them in. And Chad is here to repeat your questions for us if you have a question that we can address while we're here. So I think the goal for tonight is to share with you guys all of the new products that most of our vendors have introduced to us over the last few months. Pretty much all of the companies do some sort of a convention over the summer. Some were virtual, some were in person. Actually, most were virtual, which is hard. Last year, everything was virtual. Even this was virtual. And it's just hard when you don't have that face-to-face interaction. So I'm really excited to have you guys here. I think we have a lot more people that were signed up, so hopefully they attend. So I feel good about being able to in person be able to share some of the new stuff with you guys, because the excitement and the seeing everything in person is definitely more fun than virtual. Anyway, so each of the vendors have a convention over the summer where they introduce new products and all the exciting things. Some of the companies have products already in stock and available. Some we're still waiting on because of several different reasons. And one thing I always like to mention when we have new products come out is that means we kind of got to get rid of some of the older products. And it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they're, the previous model or at the lower price. So there's always a lot of people really like the fun, new, exciting stuff, but some people like to get in on the tail end of the previous product at a lower price that we're trying to just move through inventory. So be keeping that in your mind. Even if you have a friend, a lot of times people have a friend or a family member that is looking to get into a new machine, or we get trade-in. So this is just a really good time to be looking into getting a new product. So we have a PowerPoint presentation and some videos and things that we are going to share with you. We're going to start with Bernina product. I imagine if you are either here in a seat or you're at home watching, you have something in mind that you are curious about, or something that you want to see or have questions about. Is anybody here that's in person have anything that's like that you're like burning to see or hear more about? Somebody's got to please say yes. The scan and cut? New scan and cut? Awesome. And that's one of the ones that we don't have here. Perfect. But we can still talk about it. We're still going to talk about it. After the Bernina stuff, we'll get to the brother stuff. How about you? Do you have something that you probably could? The new embroidery module? The Smart Drive embroidery module? What? Okay. How about at home? If you guys have something at home that that you're excited to see or learn about, I want you to tell Chad so he can tell me, and we can make sure that we talk about it. So let's, please, like I said, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Let's get started.
I'm quilt artist and fabric designer Amanda Murphy, and I'm excited to introduce you to the new Bernina Q16 Plus on the studio frame. It features the same high-quality Swiss engineering for which Bernina is known, and its ease of handling and intuitive interface will make you feel right at home. The Q16's 16-inch throat space is perfect for larger quilts, but it's also great for those with limited space options, especially in combination with the studio frame. And the studio frame also fits the Q16's bigger sister, the Q20. Domestic quilters will appreciate the front handling. It's so much easier than quilting from the side. And the studio frame is also perfect for those who want to upgrade from a sit-down model. No passionate quilter should miss the opportunity of being able to quilt on a long arm on a frame, because the weight of the quilt is taken off your shoulders and you're simply driving the machine with your hands. And as you can see, this machine is so light, I can push it with just one hand. The Q16 Plus may be a smaller machine than its big sisters, the Q20 and the Q24, but it has the exact same capabilities. That means you can add optional automation, you can do ruler work, you can even do pantographs along the back of the frame. One of the things that I love about the Q series is that you can manage everything from the front of the machine. You can thread the top thread using a simple thread path right from the front, and you can also wind the bobbin thread from the front. And even better, you can wind the bobbin thread as you quilt. Here's a tip. I like to buy my thread in pairs so that I can wind a bobbin thread anytime I run out without interrupting the quilting process. I love the large ergonomic display. It makes it easy to see things and make adjustments. And the Bernina engineers were genius. They took a feature that is normally on domestic machines, numeric thread tension, and they put it on their long arm. So if I had any tension issues or I wanted to use a specialty thread, I can adjust the tension right on the screen. And I can save special thread tension settings for specialty threads for future use. It makes it so easy. I love how you can customize the Q series to fit you. So you can change the angle of the handles. You can put them up and down. You can also change the angle of the handlebars. And I change these settings pretty frequently as I quilt to help eliminate fatigue. I also love how you can program the handle button. So I'm right-handed. I keep my power button on the right-handed side of the machine, but if I was left-handed, I could change it so that it was on the left-hand side of the machine. And I do that simply by touching a button on the bottom of the screen. I really appreciate the enhanced visibility that is given by the LED lighting. It makes it easy to quilt, even at night. I also love the fact I don't need any extra tools to change the presser foot. I can use any Bernina free motion foot. Also, I can use domestic needles, which is a real advantage. The Bernina stitch regulator is built in and sensor driven. It has 3 modes as well as a manual mode, which means it provides perfect stitches at any length, at any speed. To change the stitch length, I simply click on the screen. So I can change it down to 1 stitch per inch or up all the way to 24 stitches per inch. The different stitch regulation modes give you many options when quilting. BSR1 is a regulated stitch with an adaptable idle speed. BSR2 is a fully regulated stitch. BSR3 is a shortcut for a basting stitch, and you have the option of 1, 2, or 4 stitches per inch. And finally, there is a manual mode. The Bernina Studio frame is extremely easy to set up. Many of the parts come pre-assembled. It took me just 2 hours from start to finish with a little help from my daughter. When I first saw the studio frame, I was thrilled to see how sturdy it is. Like the Pro frame, it features 2-inch rails. And that means the rails won't bend when you forget and you lean against the frame or when you tighten the quilt just a bit too much. I also love how customizable it is. So you can set it up at different heights. I obviously am vertically challenged, so I set it up at the shortest height, but I also have set it up on casters, so it's easy to move, and that's an optional feature. You can also set it up at different widths, so that makes it perfect for small studios. I have it set up on the 10-foot width because I wanted to put some bigger quilts once I'm done with this quilt, but you can easily set it up at 5 feet for smaller spaces. Just like with the Pro frame, you have 4 rails: the take-up rail, the dead bar, the back rail, and the top rail. I love these newly designed precision ratchets and the bungee holders too. That helps keep your quilt nice and flat when quilting. And the back of the frame features this great flat area for laying a paper pantograph. I can't wait to try one. Thanks for joining me on a tour of the new Bernina Q16 Plus on the studio frame. I can't wait to see the projects you make. Happy quilting.
Bernina, made to create.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
This is the Bernina Studio Challenge. So Paul and John, no cussing, no tool throwing, and every screw counts. We're Bernina, so let's get ready to rumble!
So
Figuring this all out.
So what you just learned about was the studio frame that's here, and we have the Q16 Plus on the studio frame. If you're familiar with the Q series machines at all, the only thing that they did different with the Q16 Plus was they made it so that you could put it on the frame and add an automated program if you want to. What's really special about this setup is it's more affordable than the Q series products that we've had available to this point, because the frame is just a little bit more basic. It's still really substantial. A lot of frames are kind of flimsy. It's still a really substantial frame. It's just a little more basic. It takes under 15 minutes for 2 people to assemble, as you saw. So if you've been thinking about investing in a long arm and maybe space is an issue, or obviously your budget is a concern, this is a really awesome, new, affordable, very high quality product. People often ask me what my favorite is, and I have a hard time answering that question often because I like to say that, you know, it depends on what your needs are and what your preferences are. But my final answer is I have a Bernina long arm in my basement. So that's kind of the answer to that one. It's my favorite, so because I own one, or vice versa. So if you're looking to get into a long arm, this machine, you can start out having this machine just in a table that you sit down and you can just free motion quilt, takes up less space. At this point, the price isn't really that much different between having it in the table or on the studio frame. And then obviously we have the more robust Pro frame and different options. So this is just a really nice starting point. Anybody have any questions on that stuff? You see it on your handout there. The question that will probably be asked more than once was, how much is it? If you're at home, we have to be a little bit delicate about talking about pricing, because we have some rules that we have to follow with all of our different manufacturers as far as promoting sale prices of the products that we sell online. So we need to talk about that on a little bit more of an individualized level. So if you're home and you want specific pricing on things, we want to be able to help you with that. But we need to be very delicate with the rules that we have in place for our products. I think Eric wants
I'll jump in.
to say something.
I'll stand next to you for a second. This is my wife, so this works. So you guys, everybody that's here, you guys all have a handout. And the actual prices are on there, and in break, we can kind of go through these and explain everything to you. For those of you that are at home, you're welcome to, some of you came in and picked these up already. If not, the specials, you guys, are good through Saturday. So we've got a couple days to kind of think about it and decide what's going to work best for you. So for those of you that are home, you're welcome to come in tomorrow and pick one of these up. You can talk to us about maybe even emailing it. We have to be, again, really careful, because with our manufacturers, there's an agreement, and we agree with the agreement. We should just kind of stay local, right? Everybody needs local support, and we are a big-time supporter of that. So although we're doing this virtually, we're definitely sticking to the local support side of this. So those of you that are local, we can get this to you. And again, what you're going to see on the presentation, because we can't really, again, post all of our sale prices, I can promise you this: you won't find a better deal. This is it. We've geared up for it. We've bought heavy for it. So what's new is really a good time to get going. But what you're going to see is the savings. Okay, so up on the screen, and you guys at home, what you're going to see is the savings, and you'll be floored. It's pretty awesome. So we'll go with that.
And you can certainly call the store, message us at the store, and we can get you the information that you need. So that's the Q16 Plus on the studio frame. We also have the Q16. We have the Pro frame. We have the tables. A lot of different options there. There are a lot of amazing features of the Q series. They're listed on the PowerPoint. We have automatic digital tension, which I really love. We have automatic needle threader, standard machine needles. easy user interface and compatible with all your regular Bernina presser feet. So a lot of awesome features there. And what you see here, as Eric mentioned, we do have interest-free financing, and what you see there is your savings. We can tell you what your savings are, but we can't tell you what the sale price is. That's just some rules that we have.
We do big bundles. I don't know if you need to repeat that, but we do really big bundles. So we've basically taken on here what we've done, you guys. We've gone in and we've added. I'm sure they can hear at home right now, right? Are we unmuted?
Not if you're not close to your wife.
Oh, well, there we go. So anyway, what we've done on here is we put together, I do the pricing. So I've taken and said, all right, what do most people buy when they buy a machine, 6 months after, 8 months, 10 months after? And we know from a track record of purchasers, you guys, what you like, what you don't like. So we put together bundles. So when you're seeing this savings is actually off that total bundle too. So you're not only getting a discount on the machine, but you're also getting a discount up front on all those things that most people are purchasing. Then we also have buybacks, which you guys, again, that are in the room, you can see all those, where it says Nuttall's buybacks. That means this is an item that you don't necessarily need. So if it's something that's in the bundle that you don't need, we'll buy that back for exactly what we paid for it. We're only putting it into the bundle at wholesale, so we'll buy it back at wholesale as well. It's another good advantage. It's the one time that you guys actually get to buy all those extras at exactly what we're paying for them. So it's a good way to do it. But again, that's kind of the pricing. So as we go, I'm sure you'll have questions and probably have to contact us at the store. Right?
Or they're texting myself.
Or just ask Chad right now. Okay, what's next?
And then at the break, we can go over those as well.
In addition, a little bit of support materials. Bernina's really good at all that. There's a big book of long arm quilting that they have put together, like I said, to support the long arm. It's somewhat generic to different brands of long arms. It's somewhat generic to long arm quilting in general, but they also have some other books that are similar along that same path. They've got a regular machine quilting book, they have a serging book, they have big book of embroidery, and they have big book of feet. So I don't have any of the long arm quilting books at the moment, but it's something that you can get to just kind of enhance your learning experience, and it goes along the same lines as the other books that they have, which you guys are more than welcome to leaf through. If anybody wants to take a look at any of these, I'll set them on the table here. So a special price right now, $69. Regular price on that book is $89. So if you would like to order one of those, we can do that for you tonight.
So on just that book,
you want to do it on all of them?
I do.
Okay, we can do it on all of them. Does that sound good? We'll do it on all of them.
All right. Mindy Mail is asking, can you email me the pricing to me?
Yes.
And then Cheryl
Yasuda. Hi, Cheryl.
Do you have the new scan and cut?
Talking about that.
We'll get to the scan and cut in a little bit. The question was, we got the scan and cut. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, next slide.
Hang on, we're
More questions?
no.
So that was a quick little clip on the 880 special edition. The machine that we have is here. This is the 880 Crystal Edition. It's a special edition machine that has the beautiful display. Obviously, it comes with the new embroidery module that we'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. It comes with the beautiful matching wheeled carrying case and embroidery module case. And I wanted to save this for last because I thought it was really beautiful when I opened it up, and it's definitely prettier than seeing it on screen. So I'm going to show you. In the box here, we have a nice tin that goes with the machine. And in the tin, let's see, it's one more layer. Hopefully you can see this all right. But there are the crystals. Hold on. Isn't that pretty? And I can do like they do on TV when they move it just a little bit to make it sparkle a lot. So you have tons of crystals in here that you can sew on, a USB stick with special designs that are not included with the machine. We have the number 10D edge stitch foot and the 18 button sew on foot that come in this kit here. So this comes with the purchase of the Crystal Edition 880 Plus. And there's also a 790 Plus, which is similar, tiny bit smaller, really, really, really awesome machine there as well. So I'm going to set that bad boy right there. And then, so yeah, that's the 880 Plus Crystal Edition. Obviously, special pricing right now. We got some in, we sent some out, so we're waiting for our next shipment of those. You got some beautiful designs to go along with it. There's a coupon in there for half price the software. There's the luggage that goes with it. The 790 comes with the same luggage. So the machine is the same. If you're familiar with the 880, the machine is the same machine, but it's the extra goodies that are coming with it that make it unique. And along with that comes the Smart Drive technology new embroidery module. How many of you use, or I should say have, how many of you have a Bernina with a big embroidery module that looks kind of like this one? Okay, a lot of you. So the module is the same size as the one that you currently have. If you have a 7 series or an 8 series currently, it's called the Smart Drive technology module, which means it's going to embroider faster than your current module does. That's the biggest thing. It's quieter, a little more efficient, but faster is the big thing. 55% faster. You can purchase the Crystal Edition machine with the bundle, like Eric was talking about earlier. We have package pricing with some cabinet software, things like that. You're saving up to $13,000 on the 880 and about $11,000 savings on the 790 Crystal Edition in the bundle right now. So, and yeah, in that package, like I said earlier, it's got a cabinet and software and a whole bunch of beautifulness that you can kind of see in the picture there. So not everybody wants necessarily a cabinet or that cabinet that we have in the package. Not everybody necessarily wants the software that we have with it. Not everybody necessarily needs financing. So we do a lot of different options for you to kind of create a package that's right for you and your needs. But like Eric was explaining, those are items that people are usually investing in over the course of time. And if we just put it all together for you, give you good payments and all the great savings at one time, then it works out really well for you. So we try to help you along with that. Just based on our experience, we try to help you along with that package and get you all the savings with financing if you want all at one time. Okay? Any questions there?
No. Say hi to Patty Schaefer.
Hi, Patty Schaefer. Watching from home. Hopefully you're in your slippers.
Bernina, made to create.
Okay, so In the video, we saw the new 770 Quilters Edition Plus. That machine is here. If you have, anybody have a 770 QE currently? So if you have a 770 or you are familiar with the 770, this is really similar in a lot of ways, but it has some additional new features, which you saw in the video. There's a lot more in the embroidery capabilities. It has some new sewing features. But before I get into too much detail on that, I want to talk about those of you that already have a 770, that there is an upgrade that you can purchase to make your machine do exactly what the 770 Plus does. So you can have a 770 currently and add the upgrade. I have these in stock. I have all the features that are on the new machine are on this, so that's pretty cool. Again, before I go any further, with that said, we have 770s that we need to move through that I was kind of talking about before we, because we have to make room for all the new 770 pluses. So we have like 2 or 3 left, I want to say. I'm not sure. And if you want to get in on a good price on an awesome machine, I would not wait, because I was saying earlier that they'll be gone before the end of the day Saturday. I don't know that they're going to make it that far. So anyway, 770 QE. Chad, you have a question?
Lorraine said, when will you have your new shipment in if I come down and on Friday morning to get this machine and I have to trade mine in at the same time? She keeps
So Lorraine, and anybody else that has a question like this, if you want to get in on one of the new machines, I will. If you want to get in on one of the new machines and you're concerned about one not being here when you come or not wanting to miss out on your trade-in machine in the meantime, don't worry about that. You can hold on to your sewing machine as long as you need to until we get the new one in. If your question is about the 770 Plus specifically and you want to come on Friday and get one of the 770 Pluses, I'm not sure offhand if we have one of those in stock physically at the moment for you to take home, but certainly put a deposit on something, and as soon as one is available, we'll get that to you. And like I said, at that point, you can leave us with your old machine that you're looking to trade in. Okay, so 770 QE Plus, it's a lovely machine. It doesn't necessarily come standard with embroidery, but embroidery is an option at the 770 level. So if you're maybe a quilter that's not sure you want to invest in embroidery, or you already have an embroidery module for one of your larger machines, it's going to work the same. So there's a lot of little variables going on there. Another question that a lot of you have, and we kind of were talking about this for a minute, is if you already have the other big module from Bernina, you can actually upgrade your module to the new Smart Drive module. I think we're going to see a slide in the moment that talks about the sale on that and your savings on that. So we can talk about that as well. So if you were just going to purchase the 770 QE Plus and you want to get it with the embroidery and you want to get a cabinet and you want to get the luggage and you want to get a cutie frame to go along with it, you're going to save $7,600 and software. If you want all that awesomeness all at one time, you're going to save up to $7,600. We can talk to you about that, like I said, on a little bit more of an individualized level to make sure we get you exactly what suits your needs. Okay. In the upgrade kit, I'm going to bounce back to that baby for a second. In the upgrade kit, what you're seeing in the slide is a ruler foot. I will be teaching another ruler work class coming up here pretty soon. But this one's unique because it has a little slit in the foot. So if you've ever done ruler work and you are familiar with the fact that the foot itself is a round foot, usually it's closed on the outside and you can't get your thread through there. This is number 72S, which is a new foot that's only available right now in the upgrade, but I'm sure it will be available to us pretty soon. It's got a little slit in the foot so that your thread can slide through there without having to break your threads, which is pretty cool. And then the couching inserts are there. If you only wanted to buy The Smart Drive embroidery module, MSRP is $24.99.
We can talk about these.
I see that. Event special is $19.99. So if you currently have a module and you want to upgrade to the new module, you can purchase that. If you don't have a module for your 770, people have purchased 770s without the embroidery. Now is a really good time to get the new Smart Drive module. But you know what else happens when we have a new product come out? That means we've got to clear through our old product. So you can even talk to us about getting in on one of the, I'll call it the closeout regular, not so Smart Drive modules. No, just the regular 7 and 8 series module at a reduced price because we have the new one that we're moving into inventory. The upgrade is normally $5.99. We have it for $4.99 if anybody is interested in that. Trade in your 7 series module and get a $400 credit towards a Smart Drive module. So you'll get even $400 more in savings if you're trading in one of your original module. Are there any questions there? 7 or 8 series module traded, yeah. So does that make sense to you guys that have those modules and those machines and those things?
Somebody asked about the price.
Yes.
On the 770 upgrade, so will you go over that?
So the 770Q E Plus upgrade is this baby right here in the box. The retail price of this upgrade is $5.99. If you want to purchase it now, it's $4.99. And we can offer you 6-month interest-free financing that works out to $89 a month. So I do have some of those in stock if anybody's interested in that. If you're home and you're interested in it, you can maybe message us back and let us know to hold one for you. You can call with your credit card number. You can come in and get one. We are trying to make this as easy for you as possible. You do need to do an update to your sewing machine. So you're going to go to Bernina's website to do the update for your sewing machine to make it ready to handle the upgrade. So there's just some minor details that'll happen internally with your machine in order for it to be ready to accept the upgrade. Okay? Any questions here in the room? You guys are quiet? Little interaction would be fine. We can pass around the cookies now. That we're going to talk about is version 9 software. Sorry, go ahead.
My name is Silvery Pruitt from Suki Sews, and I've been in the sewing industry my entire career. And I have traveled the globe as a costume and fashion designer and even a small leather goods designer. But since 2010, I have run my own business. So as a creative person, it's really remarkable to me that you can do something on the computer and then magically it appears on your embroidery machine and then it turns into a project. And I am just fascinated the combination of the Bernina software and embroidery machines. I'm so excited to share with you that Bernina has developed a new software. It's designed for the longtime embroidery enthusiast, but also the Bernina newbie. And it's really going to open the door for machine embroidery creativeness. It's called Bernina Embroidery Software 9. Now there are 2 different levels. The first is the Designer Plus, and this has all kinds of wonderful new embroidery features. But what's really cool is if you have a previous version of the Bernina software, you'll be able to update or upgrade to this version. And then there's also Creator, which is wonderful for entry-level embroiderer, and you have all kinds of editing embroidery tools. Plus, there is an interactive home screen, which is really neat because it has all kinds of tutorials and projects, and it brings you to some really cool designs. And I gotta tell you that the fact that I can use this on multiple computers just by logging in and out, I love that. It's totally awesome. And if you want to use a recently used embroidery design, guess what? They pop right up for you. But if you want to start a new graphic, you can start in Corel Draw, and that comes with Designer Plus. And now there's Wi-Fi functionality, which is really amazing because you can create all your designs and editing on your computer, and then from any room in your house, you can send it wirelessly, seamlessly to your embroidery machine. Both levels are compatible with the Wi-Fi functionality, and the Wi-Fi device is bundled with the Designer Plus level and can be purchased separately to work with the Creator level. With both Designer Plus and Creator, you have the ability to turn artwork into an embroidery design. You can use the improved, powerful auto-digitizing tools, and in just a few clicks, you have an embroidery design to stitch. The full editing tools give you the ability to change all sorts of things, from your fill to the color to the size. There are so many advanced features that are going to take you from vision to sketch to full editing and full digitizing. For example, the branching and the weld tools. The branching tool, it's pretty amazing. You no longer have to worry about your stitch sequence. It will literally regenerate to give you the most efficient stitch sequence. Oh, and the weld tool, you can now take multiple objects and weld them into one single object. Designer Plus has full digitizing ability, allowing you to take your project from sketch to design and digitize it manually. Now let's talk about fonts. Bernina Embroidery Software 9 includes over 100 fonts. In fact, my new favorite is Shellac font, which has this lovely handwriting kind of style, which is so hot right now. And adding fonts has never been so easy. With the Bernina Embroidery Software 9, there's now a separate toolbox for lettering and monogram, and it includes the suggested sizes right inside the toolbox. And there's a new feature called Keyboard Design Collection, which allows you to map out designs to your keyboard for endless alphabet options. There are more basic shapes as well as new applique features. There's a new applique toolbox and the Convert to Applique tool that makes creating an applique from any shape super easy. Plus, more stitch types like tack down and cover stitching have been added. And now you can export your applique file as an SVG, which is wonderful for those cutting machines. I've been digitizing for 25 years, and I have now found the software that matches my imagination so that I can create my most memorable designs.
Bernina, made to create.
Good to go? So version 9 software is an upgrade from version 8. Does anybody have version 8 or 7 or 6? 4? You've upgraded from 4.
Are you at 6?
You're at 8. Yeah. We go back to 1. So version 9 software is the newest version. They have been doing upgrades throughout time. If you have as old as version 6, you can still upgrade to version 9 at this point. There's obviously a lot of new, really cool features that Sue talked about. I think probably the most exciting one is the fact that we have wireless capability now. So if you have 5 series, a 7 series, an 8 series, you'll be able to plug the connector into the machine and connect wirelessly from your software, the version 9 software, to your machine and just send a design right to it. So that's a pretty cool feature. There's a couple of different options for purchasing. If you don't have any software and you want to just get the full software right off the bat, you want to create your designs from scratch, you want to do it wirelessly, that's the full version 9 software, and that's the version that's going to have the Wi-Fi device ready to go the soonest. If you're upgrading your version 8, which I think is probably a lot of people are going to want to do that to get the Wi-Fi device, as we're getting to be a little bit more comfortable in our world that we're living in currently, there's a shortage, there's supply issues, there's different things that are happening all across the world, and they're affecting the Wi-Fi device for us directly. So the Wi-Fi device, for those of you that are interested in, for example, upgrading from version 8 up to version 9 or 7 to version 9, that is something that we'll have available for you probably April, May of next year. Those devices, there's a shortage, so we're going to have that available a little bit later. So pre-order it now. That way, when we do get our first shipment, we'll be able to get them out to you guys right away.
Their current software can still be, they can do the update and get the version 9. They're just going to be waiting on the Wi-Fi device.
So what Eric's saying in the background is that you can update your software now. They do have a trial version available too, by the way, but you will not be able to get that Wi-Fi device until May. So
is the software itself available?
Do you want to answer that question? Because my understanding is that they get it all in May.
So the software upgrade, so the question was, is the software itself available? The software itself is going to be available. When I say going, it could come in the next 15 days. So they are going to ship the software. So somebody that wants to do an upgrade, you can still upgrade your software. What you're not going to get, and we'll have to put in the special order and track it and all that. So you would get, so the pricing for the upgrade is where it says V9 update with Wi-Fi device, and then it says May 2022. You're going to get the upgrade as soon as they ship to us. And we expect them in the next, possibly, like I said, it could be any time now. That will come. The Wi-Fi device is what will be on back order, okay? The advantage that what I see and the reason to make this happen now is, you guys, this is not going away. All these shortages, we thought last year when we were buying sewing machines and I couldn't get sewing machines for a long time, we thought that was short term. It's worse today than it ever has been. So this whole section right here of Wi-Fi devices, and not even just Wi-Fi devices, any products that you're anticipating purchasing in the next 60 to 90 days, today is the day to put your order in, because there's a good chance that it's going to take them that long to supply some of these things. So the upgrade you can get as soon as it ships to us, which we anticipate soon. The Wi-Fi device will be the what's on hold. Does that answer it?
Sounds like it.
All right.
So you see your pricing there for the different options. If you're confused about what option falls into your category, please either let us know now, or like I said, we can talk about it more on. Yes, you can say one more thing. He asked if you could say one more thing. You guys all heard that, right?
One more. I get a new one more thing in like 10 more minutes. But so one thing that I'm excited about, because myself and Chad, we both teach a lot of the digitizing classes and the software classes. And it used to be that Bernina had two levels. They used to have Editor and they had Designer Plus. And I always thought that was the best way to do it, because as an educator, the last thing I want is for somebody to own something and is sitting in my class owning this product that they are so over their head in, right? Because it's really hard. They just feel like they have to learn everything all at once. They've spent so much money, and it's really hard on both ends. It's hard for me as the educator. It's hard for them because they're trying to take all of it in at one time. So when they used to sell Editor and Designer, that was a lot easier, because what I would tell the customers, even if they want a designer, as the educator, the guy that was going to deal with you once you owned it, I wanted you to buy Editor. I didn't want you to own Designer today. And the classes, the way that they're structured, they start off with Editor anyway. So my feeling always was, buy Editor. If you want to upgrade while you're in class, we can do that. The upgrades, those are, I can do it tomorrow once the software is readily available. That's easy. What we can't do is go backwards. So I've encouraged people to buy the entry level, and then we can just upgrade you. It's a lot easier. And I feel like it opens up the learning curve for you a little bit easier too. So that is back. We now have Creator. So if you don't have software at all, Creator is going to be awesome. Get into Creator, get into the classes, and then if you feel like everything's working out perfectly, you feel like you're grasping the concept, well, then we upgrade you to Designer. It's that simple. So that's one thing that is a big deal for me. Anyway, Chad has a question, or somebody has a question.
Go for it.
Oh, sorry. They're asking, can you use the Wi-Fi device with version 8 Designer Plus?
So the question is, can you use your Wi-Fi device with the version 8 Designer Plus? And the answer is you need to get the version 9. Okay, that's the part of the thing about the version 9 is it makes it capable to do that Wi-Fi. So we need to get to the update to version 9 in order to use that Wi-Fi capability. Okay. So we have a beautiful embroidery bundle. That's the next thing that I want to just share with you quickly. I have these in stock. I have one here on display to show you. It's a bunch of embroidery stabilizers. Maybe you're new to embroidery. It's not Bernina specific. It does say Bernina on it, but the truth is it's not really Bernina specific. We've got a bunch of embroidery stabilizers. We have a bunch of embroidery designs. We have a beautiful sampling of embroidery threads. This is Isacord embroidery thread. So like I said, if you're new to embroidery and you want to stock up on the products that you're going to need to get started with, this is a really good way to go. You have $750 worth of embroidery supplies for $5.99. Okay, so that's and in with that you have the big book of embroidery, which is a nice encyclopedia of all your embroidery information, basically. So you're welcome to leaf through that. There's some literature on the different stabilizers, how to use the different stabilizers. There's a key in there. So this is a really beautiful bundle to help you stock up on the things that you need to do embroidery. And I've got that available.
Hello, my name is Julian Collins. I'm the creator behind Julian Creates. And one thing that I love about Bernina is that when I first started sewing, I was in some Facebook groups and they said, nothing sews like a Bernina. I felt like I needed to check that out. Now that I have so many Bernina machines and I can't recommend it enough. I am so excited to tell you about all the things I love about the L860. One thing that I absolutely adore about the L860 is this one-step air thread system. Before, I was always a little intimidated by having to rethread my machine and having to remember how to do it. With the L860, it makes it so easy. The one-step air threading system really has an easy operation where you don't have to actually push the thread into the holes, but only hover it over the holes for the thread to catch when you press the pedal to engage the air threading system. You can thread the machine in any order. So one of the great things about this machine is its color touchscreen. From this screen, you can literally control this whole machine. From here, you can check your settings, you can choose your stitches, even watch animations to make sure that you are using the proper features of the machine. All the different functions that are available on the touchscreen really make sure that I'm getting the perfect stitch that I want each and every time. Using the personal memory, you can save stitches that you might want to come back to in the future. The Stitch Optimizer allows you to make sure that you're getting the perfect stitch each and every time, especially when you're using specialty or decorative threads. It allows you to troubleshoot any issues that you might be having to make sure that you're getting that perfect finish. Using the screen under Guided or Expert mode, you really get to decide everything that you want to do. Under Guided mode, let's say that you're brand new with this machine. It really helps tell you everything that you need to do for this machine. With each and every step of this process under Guided mode, it gives you animations and it tells you exactly what to do, from changing your cutting width to making sure that your pressure foot pressure is correct. Under Expert mode, let's say that you've had a little bit of time with this machine, you know exactly what you want to do, you can easily go into that mode and choose your stitch. But let's say that you maybe forgotten a part of that. You can still go back into those animations to make sure that you are getting every single feature right as you are threading your machine. When choosing a stitch using your colored touchscreen, things such as your stitch length, your thread tension, and your differential feed are already selected for you, leading to a perfect stitch right out the box. But let's say you want to change some things. Also using the colored touchscreen, you can change those functions. You can make your stitch length longer or shorter. You can change your differential feed in case you want a wavier hem, as well as you can change your thread tension, creating the stitch that is perfect for you. Using the Sewing Consultant on the L860 is a great tool to use when you're really wanting to try something new. So using the Sewing Consultant, you can choose your fabric, as well as the technique that you will like, and it will set everything else up for you, such as your stitch length, as well as your thread tension. It will even give you suggestions for what presser foot to use. Using the free arm makes sewing things such as your sleeves or cuffs, or even small garments for a child just so much easier. The foot control on the L860 is so wonderful to use. With the tap of your heel, you can operate the needle up and down feature. Also with the foot control, you can really control the speed of the machine, from either going as much as 1,500 stitches per minute or as slow as stitch by stitch, especially in those really tight corners or curves. I absolutely love the Bernina freehand system. Now with just using the knee lift, I can raise and lower the presser foot so I can really focus on having my hands on my fabric and on my piece, really allowing me to make sure that I'm getting the exact control over the fabric. With this machine, there is a built-in needle threader, making it so easy to thread the needles of your overlocker. You can choose which needle that you want to thread, which also corresponds with a color-coded system of the threading path of this machine. One of the great features of this machine is the swing out presser foot, especially when you're threading the machine. It allows you to have full access to the needles, making it so much easier to thread with the automatic threader. The technology packed inside the L860 makes it really feel like you have a teacher inside, making it a perfect machine both for beginners and professionals alike.
Bernina, made to create.
So that's the L860, which I have right here. And I didn't feel like we could do this presentation justice without sharing the 890 with you as well. So here's the 890, which we've had out since last year. Around this time, we got what's the word I'm looking for? A prototype. We got one prototype of the 890 in to share with you guys for our presentation last year. And they just introduced the 860. We have a special guest that's going to come say hi really quick. Come on. You've been revealed. You've been revealed. Here's Joe saying hi from around this door. He couldn't stay away. What's up? We're going to take a break in a couple minutes, okay? He has a big day coming up on Friday. He's going to be 10. He's going to be 10 on Friday. Yeah, so a little birthday party for you tonight. How's that? With some of your closest friends. So the 860 is kind of in between. We had the 850 at first and the 890. The 890 is the top of the line machine. It does overlocking and cover stitch stuff and a combination of the two. If you don't know what I mean when I say those, overlock is the edge. It's the stitch that you see inside of a lot of your garments, and the cover stitch is what you usually see for the hem on a t-shirt and things like that. And then we can do a combination of both stitches, which you usually see inside your jeans where you see the overlock and a chain stitch right next to it. So you can do all that on the 890. The other thing that stood the 890 apart from the other models was the screen and the display and the ability for it to guide you through your stitching. So most people, when they think of serging or they hear about serging or using a serger, is they get just intimidated and scared and unsure. And that's what makes the screen really awesome, because it guides you through the setup. It guides you through, adjustments and changes that you need to make the stitch look perfect. And I can assure you that when it's set up, it stitches so beautifully. It feels like a sewing machine. It's really smooth and quiet, and it's really lovely. So with that said, they just introduced the 860, and the 860 looks really similar to the 890. The biggest difference between the 890 and the 860 is the fact that the 860 doesn't do the cover stitch things or the combination stitches. So it's purely for overlock, edges, rolled hem, flat lock, all the basic serge overlock type stitches you can do on the 860. But the beautiful part about it is it does have that same LCD display and setup. It's got digital tension, so it automatically sets it up the way it needs to be for the stitch that you've selected. You're certainly more than welcome to control that with the adjustments of the buttons and on the screen, so you can completely have total control over the setup of the stitch. So it's really customized perfectly for what your needs are based on your fabric and your thread and your just preferences. So so you have go back for me, please. Go back for me, please. There you go. So the 850 is a 4-thread machine. It looks a lot like the 860, except it's just solid silver here. It's a 4-thread serger, so the overlock stuff. The 860 is still a 4-thread serger, but on all of them, you have the air threading, which is so sweet. And I'm more than happy to show you guys that on a more individual demonstration. And then the 890 and I have it set in the horn cabinet that was designed specifically for these machines, but I have to show you how sweet it is, because when you serge, if you've serged before, or even with your sewing, you know that the fabric lives on the left-hand side. And if you're doing something heavy, maybe it's a home deck project or something, and the fabric is really heavy, it likes to just fall off that left-hand side. So we have the extension table that's on the serger that you see on the screen, but with the cabinet, it makes it all one flush level so that your fabric doesn't weigh down on the side. And then when you want to either take it somewhere or you want to use the free arm, because we have access to the free arm, the whole table just raises up for you to be able to access those things. So I can take this off and I have access to my free arm, which is pretty sweet. A lot of sergers don't have access to that. That's pretty cool. I'd love for you to try it if you're interested in the 890, or obviously the 860 has the free arm as well, and so does the 850. But it comes with that lovely table. Now, some of you, sorry, I'm back to you. Some of you may already own one of these beautiful products or be taking one home really soon. We now have a bunch of different feet that are available as accessories to go along with the sergers. I have several of them in stock. There's different ones based on your needs, you know, piping and blind hemming and ruffling and things like that. So we have a bunch of feet. For those of you that are in the room, they're just on the little display over here. If you're home and you're interested in the feet to accessorize your Bernina L8 series, we can help you with that as well. We've got special pricing on the 860 bundle. So you'll get the table, you'll get the wheeled carrying case like we have here, and you'll save up a little over $4,000, up to a little over $4,000 on that. We can certainly get you a package with the L890 or the L850 instead, if that's what your preference is for. But the 860 and the 890 have that screen that really walk you through, guide you through threading and tensions and the proper stitch for your needs and the application and just making the stitch perfect. And I think that a lot of people really appreciate that guide on board. Any questions about that? It's so lovely. Such a lovely serger. Any questions at home on the sergers or anything that we've covered so far? That covers everything from Bernina. So we're going to take a quick break, and we've got some refreshments in the back if you like to help yourselves to that. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll get back on in about 10 minutes. Okay? If you have questions, please let us know. And if you're home and you have questions and you want to chime in, please do so. There's
Am I unmuted? I'm ready to go. So we're about to get started again, guys. Change of presenters for a minute. So, well, for the rest of the evening. So sorry you guys have to deal with me for the next little while as I get my mic all prepped up, and hopefully we've got enough battery. We'll find out. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, you guys, was convention-wise. So we go to Bernina. Typically, Bernina is the first convention, followed by Brother, and then followed by Baby Lock and Janome. And so this year, everything was all set to go for San Antonio, and that's where Bernina was going to do their convention. And then that got canceled last second. And then down the line, same thing happened. Actually, Bernina was not in San Antonio, Dallas. Janome was in San Antonio, and it got canceled. And then Brother, they did theirs virtual as well. And so the only convention that we physically were able to go to was Baby Lock. And I said to Chad, we've got to go. This is it. One thing that I've learned during this whole pandemic and during this time frame is, as awesome as it is to use technology, and I know some of you obviously are at home watching this, it's a different learning experience. It just is. When I go to conventions, I stand at the conventions and I take these classes, and I used to think, and now I've got a different perspective, because I used to sit in these classes and I used to think, oh, I already know all this stuff. And while you're there, you don't realize all the little things that you pick up while you're there in person. Talking to the person next to you and hearing the questions that they have and all those things. So we were excited to go to convention. We're really grateful to Baby Lock for doing that. And we're excited to get back to doing events ourselves. So one of the events that we do have coming up, do you have the dates for that, Chad? The Bernina Academy. If you guys are Bernina, obviously, it's a sponsored event by Bernina, and we've done this the last few years. This one fills up really quickly. And so it's one of those events that everybody says, well, let me check my dates. And then by the time they're done checking their dates, the class is full. So this is the first announcement. We did actually second announcement because we announced it at What's New when we were in Layton. But we are bringing in and doing Bernina Academy. It's November 12th and 13th. And you don't have to bring anything. I mean, we supply it all. You just have to come. If you're not a Bernina owner, it doesn't mean you can't come to Bernina Academy. You guys, you're learning techniques. So when you come to these events, it's nice when it's sponsored by maybe the company or brand that you have at home. But I personally, I think it's the education that we should be after, right? You want to come and you want to learn techniques. That's what they're going to do. They're going to be working on Berninas. So it's also a nice time to kind of expose yourself to different products. I think that's really important. If for nothing else, just to kind of have a special appreciation for what you do own, if it's not the brand of your choice. So I recommend taking a look at your schedule now, because it's going to fill up super quick. And then we are tentatively looking at doing another event with, a bigger event. I think it's time. I think we're really close. We all want it, but we'll see how it goes. But in February, we're looking to do our Need a Good Design event down at the fairgrounds, hopefully again. So tentatively, we're on schedule for that. Again, it'll be in February is the plan. And all that could change, as we've learned. Anything can change tomorrow. So let's get started with what we did at Brother and Baby Lock. And I want to go through really quickly and just explain this next little section to you on how this is going to work. We've combined the slideshow and the presentation with Brother and Baby Lock. And people, might say, well, why would you do that? Here's the deal, guys. We work with both products, and there's always some questions on who does what, when, where, why, and how. I can answer all those questions individually for you. But the bottom line is the majority of the products and everything that we're going to show that's new from Baby Lock and new from Brother, they actually are coming out of the same factory. Okay? So they'll have different names. The two companies will put in different things into their packages. And I think that's one advantage of working with a multi-line dealer. We can really angle to get you the very best offer that fits you. If you're looking for something that maybe Baby Lock is offering with their machine and maybe Brother is not, well, we've got that. If you're looking for something that Brother's offering with their machine that Baby Lock is not, we've got that. And so we can work with both sides. And then also, if you're just kind of open, we can look at either of the two products. If you've narrowed it down to a certain machine, and it's just a matter of which B you're going to go with, Baby Lock or Brother, well, then we can look and we can say, all right, here's the package, here's the price, what fits you the very best, okay? So as we go through this, it's both Baby Lock and Brother. So that's the next slide presentation. So me and Chad have turned into a two-man band for this next series. So I'll be running the slides and he'll be running the camera, well, the presentation portion, everything else. He'll be doing all the work, he'll tell you.
Quilt Club will come to order. There will be order. Before we kick off our meeting, our prospective member, Gary, would like to share something with us.
Thank you, Mark. First of all, I just want to say how much my time at Quilt Club has meant to me. But I'm actually here undercover. Now, let me explain. I'm on the product marketing team at Brother International Corporation. I came to Quilt Club to gain the knowledge and insight to help build the best collection of quilting machines Brother has made. And that's what we've built. March, now. We've got 4 models you'll love, including 2 enhanced models. They're all designed to be portable. And the pivot function is great for precise corners and smoother circles. Right, boy? The presser foot, it automatically lifts as the needle remains lowered for quick and easy fabric manipulation. The large workspace makes working on quilts easier than ever. And the brightly lit work area makes it easy on the eyes, even if you're working with dark fabric. 2 of the models include our compact Move It digital dual feed. That means you can use the direct motor-driven foot to feed fabric from the top and bottom. The Sew Straight Laser Vision Guide makes it easier than ever to sew straight lines. And finally, don't forget about the ability to make your own stitches, thanks to My Custom Stitch, a Brother exclusive. And automatic needle threading means you can thread the needle with the touch of a button. Amazing, right? And there's so much more. I could go on and on. I hope you all love these machines as much as I do. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you I was undercover. Can you find it in your hearts to forgive me?
Looks like there's another video. I don't think that's correct, is it? No. Turn this up on here. Like put a dot on the left and the right, and it'll do the width of like a ribbon or something. So really quickly, we'll go through these. So on those 2 videos that you guys saw, the first one obviously was Brother with his undercover guy working in there. And then Baby Lock showing the 4 machines that they've introduced. Again, product for product, they're going to be just a matter of what brand fits you the very best. So we'll go over those really quickly and some of their features. One of the new machines, so again, I know you at home, you don't have everything that we've got here. I know we've had questions. It is available. These prices will be available. You can come and pick them up in the store. If you're local, we can go in and email them out to you tomorrow, and you'll have through Saturday to take advantage of the discounts. There's also a coupon on there, so you can get 25% off scan and cut accessories and also hoops. So that's a pretty big deal. And if you are a Sewaholics member, you get your additional 5% on top of that. So you get both of those on there. So as we're going to go through, we'll talk about the first line of machines. So the Brother BQ 3100, the 3100 and also Baby Lock Chorus, both of those are what Brother would consider their quilting machines that are not combo machines. And when I say combo, whenever I say combo, I'm talking about something that's sewing and embroidery. These are sewing only, so perfect for that. They have the bigger opening. As you can see, it's 11.25 inches on the open arm. They have multifunction foot control compatibility. Now, this is where we kind of differ on what comes in the package. One brand is going to put that in their package, while another brand is going to use something else in their package. So as we explore your options, we just need to figure out what's best for you, and then we can work in that direction. Multi-direction feed, so it has the ability to feed your fabric, in left and right and on diagonals, those type of things. We also have the compact digital dual feed foot. So some of you are familiar with the digital dual feed or the Move It foot. It's a belt driven, so it's like a walking foot, but it's belt driven. So it's even more engaging as you're working with your fabrics. Well, that foot can be, it's bulky, it's big. And so what they've done is they've come out with a more compact version of that. So if you have a Solaris, a Luminaire, any Crescendo for Baby Lock, 31 or 3050, there's a bunch of machines that use it. If you have one of those machines and you've fallen in love with your Move It foot or digital dual feed, just depends on the brand that you're talking about, their names. If you have one of those machines and you're looking for a more compact version, it's available. So we have that's available. It does come with the 2 machines here. Laser vision, so you saw in the video, they have this little sensor pen. You can actually use a laser light for a guide. You can also use that pen, and you can go in and kind of in the video, it doesn't explain, it's just running. But let's say you had a bag, a strap, a handle, or a ribbon, and you want to do decorative stitching down the middle of that. You can touch on one side, like on the left side, and then on the right side, it tells it what that width is, and then that way you can keep your stitches lined up inside that. Now, if you have a Luminaire or a Solaris, you have the benefit of having a projector that projects the actual stitch onto there. So we were doing this event yesterday, and we had a lot of Luminaire owners and Solaris owners, and they were just, saying, well, my machine does a projector. It was kind of like, that's not cool. It's still cool. Your machine just happens to have another really awesome feature. So that's the sensor pen guide beam as well. It uses that same technology. So the package on those, you're going to have the BQ 3100. Right now, you can save up to $33.98, and then also the Baby Lock Chorus, you can save up to $3,000. And I didn't explain this earlier. I kind of came up and talked about pricing, but we've got really awesome bundles right now. And again, some of these are with cabinets. It's all the stuff that, again, I think you're going to buy in the next year or so. And our goal, because of the way things are right now, it's really hard to get product. So we're trying to stay ahead of that by anticipating your purchase and helping you figure that out. If you want those items, great. If you don't want them, it's fine by us. We're putting them in at wholesale. So for me, I don't want to say I don't care, but I really don't care what you take. It's just an opportunity for you to get it. And what it allows us to do is get you that product a little bit quicker than we normally are going to be able to when you finally make that decision. So that's where we're at on those bigger machines. The next step in the line is going to be the BQ 2500 and the Baby Lock Ballad. It's basically, and this isn't exact, but in the store, come in, we can sit down, we can go through these machines individually with you, take a lot more time to go through all the features. But what you're looking at is, you're looking at the next step down in the line, And it's a lot of the same features that we have on the previous two models that we just had up on the screen, but it doesn't have that laser guide and that beam on there. So still has the 11.25 inches, still does the compact digital dual feed and move it foot, directional feed. Up top, it says never miss automatic needle threader. Those of you that have either, again, a baby lock or a brother, and you've got one of those never miss needle threaders, they're awesome. You push a button and it just and works. All right. So that's a really cool feature that comes up on those. The event special on those is $2,200 off on the BQ 2500, and the baby lock ballot is save up to $34.96. It's a little bit hard. I understand at home. You guys that are here in the room, you can look and see. One of them might say that it's $2,200 off, and the other says it's $34.96 off. So automatically, we assume one, maybe the one that's $34.96 off is the better or the less expensive product. That's not always the case. This is the savings that you're going to have off the bundle. And as I explained, the two brands, they just do different bundles. So it's really simple. We have both products. We make it easy. We figure out what works best for you. Okay. So as we go through here, we're going to go to the next. Oh, and one last thing on here where it says interest-free payments. That payment is your payment with zero down and taxes included. So it's not going to go from 107 to 125 or something like that as we go through.
Add the wonder of Disney to your designs.
I know I am.
Add the wonder of Disney to your designs. With the all-new multi-purpose Innovus NQ3700D. The ultimate embroidery, sewing, and quilting combo. Only from Brother, of course. For you seasoned embroiderers out there, now you can add sewing and quilting with one versatile machine. The Innovus NQ3700D comes loaded with easy-to-use, high-performance features for embroidery, sewing, and quilting. Feel like smaller hoop sizes are limiting your creativity? Our large 6x10 hoop opens your opportunities. Enjoy 313 built-in embroidery designs, including 55 fun Disney and Pixar designs. Plus 140 frame pattern combinations and 13 lettering fonts. And an efficient and simple color sort feature. A nearly 5-square-inch LCD color touchscreen with an intuitive interface simplifies on-screen editing. All with drag-and-drop convenience. Send designs to your machine wirelessly using Design Database Transfer. And there's even an optional 5x7 magnetic hoop for working with thicker fabrics. But that's not nearly all. Sewers and quilters, the Innovus NQ3700D is your machine too. Explore 291 built-in stitches with 10 styles of one-step auto-size buttonholes and 5 sewing fonts. Personalize your work with My Custom Stitch capability. Automatic feed thread cutting between colors. Plus an automatic height adjuster. Ensure clean, smooth, high-quality stitching. And the precise pivot function allows for tighter corners, smoother circles, and easier chain pieces. One machine, simple solutions, magical results. Visit your Brother dealer today and demo this amazing, versatile, and affordable machine, the all-new multi-purpose Innovus NQ3700D.
Okay, so that was our 3700D and the Vesta, which used to be the 3600D and the Aventura. Okay, Aventura was Aventura 2. It was Baby Lock's version. And they were both two of our top selling machines in both lines. I mean, they just really fit a need. The size of embroidery is a good size of embroidery. It's 6 1/4 by 10 1/4. So it's a good size embroidery field. They clip jump stitches. Lots of really cool features on there. And again, big sellers for us. They've now upgraded them. And the big feature that they changed onto that is wireless. So now they took a really awesome machine that we've been selling a lot of, and they've added wireless capabilities and other things too. But the reason I bring that up, we still have, I think, 2 3600s still available that were floor models. Everything else is inventory sold. I have several Aventuras, maybe 4 that we can do. I got a couple new ones, at least we did have going into this event. Aventura is available as well. So if you're looking to get into that size of embroidery field and combo sewing and embroidery, one that clips jump stitches, has a color touchscreen, all of the features that you see on those big top of the lines, but just in a smaller package, come and talk to us, because it's the 3600 and the Aventura 2, which was the previous model, they're all getting moved at a really low price point. Okay, and it's just, basically the same product without some of the newer upgrades. But man, if you're just again looking for a good opportunity, so 3700D and the Vesta, those are going to be savings of the event special. Anyway, you're going to save up to $33.97 and $31.23 on those respectively. Payments are on there. And I want to point out something that they had in the video. They were talking about like the magnetic frame. So this is a new frame. It's also available for your other machines that most of the machines that Brother and Baby Lock have for embroidery that are the newer products. So you Solaris owners, you Luminaire owners, I could go down the list, but a bunch. There's now another hoop. It's similar, basically, some of you bought the sash frame, which was the bigger hoop that's magnetic. And so that one went really well. And so what ended up happening is the request was, we want a smaller frame, because there's certain things that you're just not using all of that surface area. So you want to do a smaller frame. So I've got to show you guys something that's really quite cool, I think. I was out at Quilt Fest last week, sorry, in Layton for the Quilt Guild's annual retreat. And we had a booth up there. And so I was up there with Nuddles representing our products. And I had a newer gal with us, Kathy. She's up in Layton. If you guys are up in that area, go see her. She's awesome. But we were sitting down at the Luminaire, and I was showing her some of those newer features that are on there. We didn't have a magnetic frame up there. It was really, I wish we did. We were sold out. I wished I had it. But I want to show you, I'll be right back. I want to show you something that we were doing on there. Now, this is a different magnetic frame. This one is for a machine that we're going to show you later. But the point being, sometimes you just want to go and you want to work on a smaller area at one time. It's more manageable in some cases. Well, what we were doing, and I'll take this out of here, so those of you that are here at the actual live event, you guys will see this and it's pretty awesome. But we used a regular hoop. Had we had the magnetic frame, this one that I was showing you, that would have been ideal. But we kind of saved those for the event. So what we did is we took and we hooped this little guy here. It's just a panel. And on this panel, it's probably not going to translate on film as well. But what we did is we hooped it. And then with the Luminaire and the Solaris, which is 2 machines, they're not at what's new, but I'm referencing this for the hoop. But what they do is they have a scanner. So we hooped this. And the hardest part about hooping this was the thickness. I have a really high loft batting, and that's where the magnetic frames really come in handy. So we got it into the hoop, and then we scanned this in. There's actually on our Facebook page, I did a Facebook Live post where it only took a couple minutes where Kathy demonstrated this. So you guys are welcome to go and check that out at another time. But we put this in, we scanned this into the machine, and then on the machine, we just drew in, basically we were doing thread painting. So we did thread painting, and in person, you guys can see this as I pass around. You're going to see all these little people and the ice caps. They're just really popping off the fabric. So that magnetic frame would have made this so much easier. So we'll just run that through. So that's all embroidery on there. So back to it. This is available. We have discounts. The discounts are when you guys come in, those of you that are at home, when you come in and pick up your little flyer, you're going to see that there's discounts on the hoops. There's discounts on the accessories. Again, I can't go over how deep of discounts they are because of rules that we have with our manufacturer. So this is available. We do have some of them in stock. So if it's something that you want, you can comment on there, let Chad know. But then we also have some of these that we'll be taking to the next stores. Those are also compatible, obviously, with the 3700D and the Vesta, which is really cool because prior to this, there really wasn't branded, and I say branded magnetic hoop because what I find is I've not been a real big fan of all magnetic hoops because some of them just don't work the way that I want them to. I'm not saying they don't work. I have a certain standard. These fill that standard for me. Okay, so that's going to be 2 of those new machines. Yes. So good question. So the size is a 5x7. It obviously looks bigger than 5x7, but chat, when I say 5x7, that's the embroidery field. Okay, and that's what's important. That's the actual embroidery field on here. There is. So last year they came out with the, and not for the 3700 that we just showed up here on the screen because that won't handle it, but for the Luminaire, absolutely. And you can use your discount on that tonight. So we have that. Yes.
So will that work on the Quattro, Dream, and the Luminaire?
I have to check on here on the Quattro and the Dream. It works on the Luminaire for sure. And it should, however, see, it's not that it won't go in, right? Because we say, well, our other hoops work. The question is, will the machine read it? Because our machine has sensors. So these were just introduced. So as soon as I put them out there, I'm always really hesitant on new product to say yes to anything that I haven't done myself. Doesn't mean that it won't. Doesn't mean that, it's misinformation. I just don't want to put it out there and say yes for sure. But we can check on that and make sure that it does.
I was curious. I was looking at it about a week ago. I was wondering if it would be the Dream and the Luminaire, but I have all 3.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
Yeah, and some of the hoops do. Some of the hoops work on all 3 and some of them don't. Like the magnetic sash frame, that didn't work on the Dream machines. So it's basically what does the machine read based off of that slide as it goes into there. Okay? Any questions on our online chat? Are we good? Awesome. So we're going to move to the next video coming up. Before we do that, we're going to do the 1700 and the flare. Now, some of you, if you're looking to find these on your paper, they're not on there. At some point, we had to call it quits on how much space we could fill things in, and even now it's still some small print, right? But we have 2 new machines coming in that are the NQ1700E and the Baby Lock Flare. They are replacing the 1600E and then also the, what was the Baby Lock version? It's not Aventura. I'll get it for you. It'll come to me in a minute. But with that said, these are basically the embroidery-only versions of the previous 2 models that we just showed on there. Okay, so they're going to have the embroidery features. They're going to clip the jump stitches. They're going to have color screens. They're going to have that bigger embroidery field that's on there, that 6 1/4 by 10 1/4 on there. So if you're looking to add to your collection, maybe you want a different product, right? I have people that say I only do Bernina, but I've heard that Brother or Baby Lock are really awesome for embroidery, right? It happens. We have customers that see it 2 different directions. Well, if that's you, this is perfect. This is right down your alley because now you could be sewing on your other brand machine, or maybe you have a Brother or a Baby Lock, and you want to be able to sew while a machine's embroidering. This is a good alternative to that and a good way to get into embroidery. We also have, what is it, the Flourish 2? So 1600 and the Flourish 2. And we have a couple of those still available, demonstrators. And the big difference is going to be wireless capability is going to be on the newer product. Okay? So those are 2 new products. We're about to move in. We're going to show you a quick video, and then we'll continue on with our Brother and Baby Lock section.
With the right attitude, challenges become opportunities. And every opportunity you create leads to another one. Add the right tools, and the things you imagine become real things you can sell to real customers. Your creativity can become a business, and that business can lead the way to a whole new life. The Entrepreneur PR680W has what you need to make the leap to the next level, like a large embroidery area and a 10.1-inch HD LCD display. Precision positioning of our embroidery designs and exclusive accessories let you create exactly what you imagine, exactly where you imagine it. The optional flash magnetic frame system offers more areas for embroidery with no hoop burn or fabric shifting. 6 needle speed with auto threading of up to 6 colors at a time means incredible productivity without thread changing downtime. The PR680W's industrial level acceleration reaches up to 1,000 embroidery stitches per minute in just 7 seconds. Wireless connectivity allows you to monitor production of your projects, transfer designs, and even network multiple machines. People everywhere are using Brother machines to take their passion to the next level. You can too. You might just look up one day and find that what used to be your dream job has turned into your real job. And then it'll be time to dream some brand new dreams.
What's that? Well, not now. See, I was muted. So I could say things off camera. Now I'm back on camera, so I got to be a little bit more cautious in what I say. Right? So here is the new, there's a version of this for the Baby Lock and for the Brothers. So I've got on this one, it's the Brothers, the PR680W. And this is the new 6 needle. I'm super excited about this machine. It was maybe hard to see in the video, but they have a feature where it goes in and it has little laser crosshairs. And what you can do with that is it's for placement. Let's say you hoop your fabric and you hoop a pocket and it's not quite hooped right. What really makes the difference between good embroidery and not so great embroidery is the prep work, right? It's, did I do the right stabilizer? Do I have the right threads, the needles, the right designs, all of that stuff. But a big part of it is placement. You can do everything right, but if your placement is off, that's what the eyes go to instantly. So some of our machines, we have cameras on some of our machines. We have projectors on some of our machines. Our 10 needle actually has a camera on there. So as a multi-needle, it would have a camera to help with this placement. On this machine, it uses that laser. And so let's say I have that pocket. It's not quite perfect. I can go in, and again, you guys, if you want to see this, we can demonstrate it. It's a lot easier one-on-one demonstrations. But we can go in and we can mark with that laser on the machine. We can say, all right, here's 1 point, and we touch a button on the screen that says set. We set 1 point. Then we move the needle up to the next point, and you say set. And now it says your design. Oh, I know where that's supposed to go. And then automatically takes your design, instead of it being straight across, which would be wrong because the pocket wasn't hooped correctly, it rotates it to match it. Really, really cool. So this is now giving us an option or an opportunity to get into a machine that's multi-needle at a price point that's a little less expensive than, let's say, a 10 needle, because I have customers that have been looking at 10 needles. And, a lot of them opt into the 10 needle simply because, let's face it, if you're buying a multi-needle machine, the 10 needle really is, it's the easiest machine to operate. For those of you that own a Luminaire or a Solaris, you can relate, right? It's just the easiest machine to operate. It just does what you're expecting it to do. So the problem that we've always had, at least in my mind, is there's a lot of people that want that machine, but maybe its price point is just a little unattainable for their budget. This new 6 needle, it's going to fill that void. It's going to fill that need. So we're going to have the PR680W on the Brother side and the Baby Lock Array on the Baby Lock side. The embroidery field is 7 7/8 inches by 11 3/4. So that's what you have as far as an embroidery field. You have 6 needles, and the question that comes up or came up is, so I can only do a design with 6 colors? No, absolutely not. You can design with whatever you want, basically. If the design has 15 colors, it's going to go through the first 6 without you doing anything. Then it's going to stop, and it's going to say, okay, I'm ready for your next 6 colors. I clip and tie, even though it has a nice needle threader. I just clip the threads that are on there, tie the next 6 through, hit the go button, does the next 6. And then so on till you're finished. So it really speeds up the process. It's super easy to work with. It has that laser perfect placement is what I was talking about. Of course, it clips jump stitches. It's also Wi-Fi enabled. Goes up to 1,000 stitches per minute. And then, of course, there's more. So if you guys are excited about the possibility of getting into a multi-needle machine to just change, your productivity with your projects, I would strongly suggest that. We actually, this is a rarity on here. We have a demonstrator available of that machine already. And the reason that we do is we were out while I was at Quilt Fest last weekend. Denise, Chad, Liz, Rosa, they were all out. Those are my fellow coworkers. They were all out at the Garden of Quilts. So we had 100 machines out at the Garden of Quilts last weekend. So I don't know how many of you guys came to that, but we were there. We had classrooms that we were representing our different brands in, but we also have some demonstrators. So if you guys are thinking, you're looking at new machines and everything that we're talking about, is not necessarily what you're looking for, talk to us, because there's a good chance we might still have a demonstrator available that we took out to that show. It's going to have less than probably 4 hours on it of actual use time, a lot less than that. But the savings is significant. So we do have 1 6 needle left that we can do a discount on. But again, up to $7,000 off on the 680W in the bundle price, and then the Baby Lock Array up to $8,000 off. $179 per month or $215 per month on there. So I would recommend that you guys come in and take a look at those. We have a new hoop. This is different. If you are a 10 needle owner, if you own a 6 needle, you should come in and take a look at this. This thing is awesome. It's already becoming one of my favorite hoops. And anyone that's taken my classes on the 10 needle or the 6 needle, I have certain hoops that I like and certain hoops that I just don't. I'll sell you whatever you want, but I also will tell you why I don't like certain hoops. This one is awesome. So in here, see if you guys can see this out here and also at home, but there's just this little lever. So you just pinch that and it just pops this right off. And that's your magnet. So as we do this, so I took and I put in just a small crib size quilt, but I was able to, this is also a 5x7 embroidery field. It comes in a 4x4 and a 5x7. Those are the two options for the multi-needle machines. But it comes in like this. And then what's different is this little plate lifts up. So I could take my fabric, place it in here. And if you look on the side, see that space that's in here? That's where I could just roll. That's where it looks small, but trust me, you can roll and get that fabric right into here. And a lot of frames like this that are what they call clamshell, you're really limited on what you can work with because the backside is closed off. This one, they gave us some space to work in. So this is a new hoop that's available. Again, you can use your discounts to get these products. Anything that we don't have in stock, you can do, all they have you do is do a special order. You'd pay for the product with your discount. And then as soon as they ship in, you'd get it. We do have some of these available. We did very well in Layton yesterday with this. It was a big hit, but we also had multi-needle owners that were in the class. So that's one of the things that kind of determines that particular item. So we are going to jump into what a lot of you probably came for, and it's the new Scan and Cut. That's the next little video that's coming up. So let's roll into that. are taking pre-orders, and we're doing, we've got a lot coming in, guys, but we've got a lot already on pre-order. So if it's something, as I explain what this is and how it works, if it's something that you're interested in, get in the queue now. Because this is not something that you're just going to walk into our store anytime soon, that is, and walk out with. They don't have enough to fill that demand currently. So what it is, and let's take it back a little bit. How many of you guys have scan and cuts? All right, so the very first scan and cut, I just thought, wow, this thing is awesome. It's amazing. Because back then it was just new, and I just thought it was cool. I could scan something in and cut it out. 30 mats later, I cut through a bunch of mats. I've ruined a bunch of things. But I thought it was cool. It was still cool because I was doing something that I couldn't do before, right? Technology is moving super quick, and the sewing industry technology is moving really quickly. And so they had that, and then they came out, which was the next big thing for me, is they then came out with the auto blade. That was like, okay, that's what I need. And it's awesome, right? The auto blade is awesome. It's so no longer am I cutting through all these extra mats and spending all this extra money on things, trying to get projects done. So that's kind of was the next step. Well, and then they came out with wireless, right? So that was the next step. And it's like, oh, now I don't have to go in and do these thumb drives and all those things. I can just wirelessly send my design. Even cooler. So now we're to this next step. This is kind of where day one I thought about, this is what I envisioned this to be sometime. Who knows when? 10 years from now, 20, I don't know. But sometime I want this to be a reality. Well, what they've done now is they've come out with two new scan and cuts. The one that we're going to focus on, and it's actually in your pricing guide. And again, I can't say the price, sorry guys, online, but it is in here, and you guys can see it listed. You've got the price on there. You guys are probably trying to scan in to see if you can zoom in on it. Yeah, that's what I just thought about. Don't get me in any trouble. So just come into the store. So on there, it's a good savings. But here's the thing, right? We end up with all these scan and cuts, and you guys are here. So the people that are in the room, you guys can kind of turn around. You'll see I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 scan and cuts, that's just a spot in our company where there's those things hanging out. These are all used scan and cuts that we are accumulating, okay? And the reason being is we take them in on trade, because like me, right, what was I gonna do with that original scan and cut? I really didn't have much of a need for the one that was not an auto blade. So I needed to upgrade, so I upgraded. Well, now I've got this auto blade, I love it, it's doing what I want, but now I want the wireless, right? So what we've been doing is we've been giving trade-ins. I've been debating about this all day because what makes me nervous is I'm going to say something on here that I put out in front of everybody, and I guess I'm committed to it because my big problem is, where do we put all these trade-ins, right? And it's easy to say, well, you just sell them. That sounds great. I've got scan and cuts as low as $99 that are all trade-ins. And they don't really move that easily, right? Because everybody wants the newest, the latest, the greatest. And I get that. So if you're a person out there that wants a scan and cut, and you don't need the newest, latest, greatest, talk to me. I've got you covered. You can have, 12 from here. And there's probably 30 in our company. But so the big question is, well, what are we going to do with your existing scan and cut? And the reality is there's not as much value to anyone because of the technology. It's like our phones, right? I got you guys saw it earlier, I got the new flip phone, right? I don't know, maybe it's cool, maybe it's not. I'm using it, I like it, but that's technology. It changes so quickly. And I just spent money on a phone a couple years ago, but here we are. That's the scan and cut today. And you're going to want it regardless. I mean, if you have a scan and cut, you're going to want this newest version. But if you own certain machines, Luminaire in particular, this is like the accessory for it. Because what it does now is you're going to be able to take, and your Luminaire and your scan and cut, they're going to communicate directly with each other. We're bypassing the computer, right? I've had people say, it's awesome, but I have a lot of people that, even though you're sewing on a computer, right? They're not comfortable with the computer itself. That's okay. So they're looking at this, and this is going to be, this is the unlock button for them to using the two together. So think about this. I could take a scan and cut, and let's say I'm going to do applique. Like applique is really big now. There's so many designs out there, so many companies, you know, OESD, Need a Good Design, Kimberbell. You can go on. There's a list. Everybody's doing it. And applique, the cool thing is applique, guys, it's one of the simplest things to digitize and make. So it also, not only is it really awesome to do, I mean, we've got some stuff up here too behind me. Oh, well, you guys can't see it, but over here on the left, that's all done with applique, basic technique. It's not applique on, but the technique. It's where we're cutting those pieces out though, right? And they have to fit and they have to be exact. Well, now let's say I'm going to do a heart. I can have that heart shape. I can either, there's one built into this scan and cut, but let's say I just have one drawn out. And I want to go in, or maybe you have an applique pattern that you purchased because you loved the kit, but the kit wasn't already pre-made and all those stuff, all those things. You could take that, you could put it onto your scanning mat. You could scan it into your scan and cut, your new one. It now has the file, right? You can hit a button that says send it to my machine. It sends that exact image over to the machine as now a file that your machine can now find the outline on. Your machine, through Design Center, you can go in and you would be able to then say, I want you to now do blanket stitches around that heart. All right, done. Between the two, you didn't touch a computer. You didn't do anything with that type of work. You went from scan and cut, scan it in to your machine. It's now an applique. It could be a blanket stitch. It could be a satin stitch. You can kind of decide what you want. And then the beauty of that is not only is it ready in your machine, but what else do we have over here on the scan and cut? We have the file to cut out the fabric to match. So now you've got the fabric over here on the scan and cut that you're going to use the scan and cut. You already used it to get the image, but now you're going to cut out your fabric too. You're going to take that over and you're going to do that applique. There is a new thing that's out. I haven't used it yet, so I'm always hesitant unless I've used it. I've used this new hoop. I haven't used the new. It's a new rotary blade. It's what they're calling it. It's supposed to be better for fabrics and also other materials, lightweights, things as well. But there's a new, and we have these right now in stock. I don't know how much longer they'll be in stock. We did very well with them in Layton, and then we've had a couple people buy them here today already. That's how I know we have them. But it's a kit, and it's a different holder for your scan and cut, but it's a rotary blade. And again, it's made to cut fabrics a little bit better and other items as well. So you start combining all those things together. You combine it with the idea, if you have a certain machine, that you can go in and you could send that design wirelessly over. And again, I think it's that perfect connection. So your old scan and cut, what do we do with those? We're going to give you $200. All I'm hoping for in that trade-in is to find a couple of last year's versions that I can sell those and get the money back for the others that aren't going to be worth $99. Because that's where we're at. So I had a question when I said that yesterday. I told them, I don't know if I'm going to offer this anywhere else, but we're doing it. The question was, is it certain models that you're doing that with? We're not going to be that specific. I don't want to make it difficult for you, and I don't want to make it difficult for my staff. If you have a scan and cut and you take advantage of it by Saturday, I'm not going beyond Saturday with this. I can't do anything with those. So you want to take advantage and you have a scan and cut, you trade yours in, you get that $200 off of that discount that you've got on your paper there. Okay? It's the best way to add that newest, like I say, accessory to your luminaire if that's what you're sewing on. That was everything by Brother and Baby Lock. I mean, there's accessories that are going to trickle in that we can talk about individually in the stores. But are there certain questions that you guys have, or anybody online that's out there? Anything? Yes.
The magnetic frame from last year, do you have those in stock?
We normally do, so we can check on that. Okay. So the question was, do we have the magnetic sash? It's the sash frame is what they call that. What's the size of the sash frame? I'll have to go grab that because I'm pretty sure there is one up there, but it's a bigger hoop. It's a good size. So we'll look at that. What else? Any other questions? Not yet? So you guys have until Saturday to kind of look this over, decide if this is what you want to do. For everybody at home, you can get a hold of us. And as long as, again, there's contingencies. I'm not giving my prices out across the United States. That's not the deal. This is not what we're in it for. We're in it for, we really at Nuttles, we really feel strongly that there is a real need for local support and classes. And so my goal is not to have this. When we decided to go online, it was to support our local community. It doesn't mean that if you have a question and you're out there and you came upon our company that we won't answer those. But at the end of the day, if you're asking me for pricing and you live, a state over, I'm going to refer you back to that local dealer, because I think it's important that you support them and they support you. It doesn't do any of us any good to have you have product that you're not happy with and it's not working the way that you want it to. So you're welcome to get a hold of us tomorrow. For those of you that are online and you haven't been able to see the pricing, we can go over that with you. For those of you that are here, you can come in and we can sit down with certain machines. I know this is a lot to digest. Like we just threw, 15 days worth of stuff all at you in a 3-hour time frame. So I appreciate you guys being here. We are doing in-person classes right now. It's still a little bit limited as to how many people we allow for those. And so if you're missing classes, get on a wait list. If you call and you're trying to get into a class and they say it's full, ask to be put on the wait list. Because what we do is we go back to the wait list before we actually advertise the next class. We go to the wait list and we first put them into the class, then we put the dates out there. So if you're not on a wait list, what will happen sometimes is if we're limiting a class, for instance, to 6 students, and I have 6 on the wait list, when I schedule that next class, it won't even show up anywhere. Why? Because there's already 6 people enrolled into that. So if you're finding that it's really hard to get into classes, and I know my customers, you guys want it just as badly as we do. We want to be in there and do those things. Ask to be put on the wait list, and then we'll get you signed up. All right? Thank you. Thank you at home for bearing with us and working through this. And if you guys have questions, give us a call. You can call the store. They can get you in touch with myself or Chad Rasmussen or Denise. We were the ones that were really working the event. And thank you, and have a good evening. Thank you. Yes.
Isn't